Welcome to Bloom with Bobbie, where women and men from all walks of life share their story. And parts of that story is compared to a particular flower for the women, and for the men, a particular tree. Hello, I'm Bobbie Hopson, and my guest today, and I shouldn't need notes, he is a husband, he is a father, he is the pastor of Ferry Field Baptist Church, and that's in Johns Island, South Carolina. He is a Marketplace Chaplain. He's an alumni of Alcorn State University, and that is in Lorman, Mississippi. Please welcome my big brother, Reverend James Towns. Welcome, James.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be with you, sis, to share with the audience that something might be of encouragement to those who may be experiencing some of the things that I've experienced throughout the years.
Yeah.
I consider myself.
I'm sorry. With our guests, we always ask our guests to choose a particular tree. I have no idea which tree my brother has chosen, but he will tell us at this moment. James, what is your tree?
Well, as I look down that list, and I think there was one you had there. I don't even have the name of it, but it was I think the one was the deciduous, and the other one was I can't recall what it was, but I really, to be honest with you, I looked at the list that we had where it says bloom with Bobbie, my sister. So I didn't really pick a tree. Neither one of those trees truly fit. Fit who. Yeah, so I didn't select a tree, but I would say if I had to describe the tree, I would say God made me one of them tough trees that deal with it, regardless of the circumstance, regardless of the time of the year. He allowed me to bloom and to function and be productive regardless of the time of the year.
Yeah, I know there are so many people that have inspired you over the years. And I am anxious to hear about some of those people, whether women or men, and whatever stage of life that they inspired you or mentored you. I'd like to hear about that.
Well, I'd be very candid with you. I gave a great deal of thought, and I reflected on that for quite some time. But the two people who made the greatest impact on my life was Selma Town, my daddy, and Easter Town, my mother. As I look at all those persons, and the reason why I say that is because it was my mother who introduced me to Christ. She didn't talk Christianity; she lived Christianity, and so I got my first insight and beginning of understanding of who Christ was. And my dad, Selma, was such a man of wisdom. He just taught me about the basics of life. And if you don't mind, I'll share a few things with you, what he said that has left that's really saved my life. He said to me about 37, 38 years ago, maybe longer. He said to me, never hold too tight of the things of the world. He said, because if you lose them, so go you. And I would always, and I was sharing with someone just the other day that every day that passed by, my daddy gets smarter and smarter to me, because I didn't always think that way. And so those two individuals from my infancy on up to a great time in my life was my mom and my dad. And then as I grew and my horizon was expanded, I went off to college and got in the professional arena. Then I met others who impacted my life, and one of them, Bobbie, that you know well, a lot of others don't know, and that was a man by the name of Ben Willie Kimball.
Yeah.
He always when I came to visit him, he always tell me to sit down. And I knew then I should have brought my lunch because I had to spend at least 2.5, 3 hours with him. And those kinds of experiences with a person like him, who was a minister and who was a man who loved God and who had sound principles that he lived by, and he gave me those things. They became part of my life. And as I got in the professional arena, I met some men and women who I admired, and I learned some things from them, who took me under their wings and helped me grow. Made a lot of mistakes, but I learned from them. My first boss, after I moved to Knoxville in 1972, this man hired me, and he just took me on his wing as I was his son, and he began to pour into my life things about how to conduct yourself, how to be professional, how to be a man, and so it was all those things, those bits and pieces of experiences helped mold me and shape me to who I am today.
Yeah. I want you to know that through the years, you have given us, your siblings that are younger than you, so by you being the oldest, we all younger, your wisdom nuggets that you gave us, that helped us throughout our lives. You have no idea how valuable they were, and they still are. And particularly when Daddy died, then you really became the elder statesman. Although you weren't that old, but you became the statesman. Like, you were the one, and you still are the one that we look up to for advice, and we respect you. And I love that about, really, I'm gonna be honest, as us as a family, is like, well, so that's a hierarchy, but we didn't buck the system. We did not disrespect one another. And when it comes to giving advice, or we respected your experience and your wisdom. So I just want to let the audience know how much you have impacted our lives, your sisters and brothers. There were 8 of us, and so you really inspired us, you mentored us, you taught us, you loved on us. So I just wanted to get that out there. I'm going to move on. My next question is, tell me about a time when you were really stressed out and you didn't think you're going to get through it, but it turned out not to be such a big deal. So tell me about that.
Well, prior to 1983, I didn't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, and our mom died in 76, and that left a void in my life, and so I was just totally lost, without direction. And it seemed as though things was getting worse than better. It just seemed like I couldn't find nowhere to find any type of consolation, no direction, no direction. And I was going through, and it happened. Y'all need to know this. I don't mind sharing. It happened on April Fool's Day. I really thought it was April Fool's Day, but it was really real. It was real when my spouse at the time just said to me she didn't want to be married no more, and that devastated me. That literally devastated me. But I thank God. I'm grateful because a week before that happened, I was walking in my living room, and the Lord spoke to my heart. So my mother had told me that it was going to happen, that the Lord was going to deal with me somewhere along the way. And on that particular morning in my living room, dining room rather, the Lord spoke to my heart. He says, time. And it wasn't like I didn't know what he was talking about. I was a little afraid, but I didn't fully understand. And and I just dropped down on my knees, because that was a total, I felt totally free, delivered. I didn't understand it. And the Lord began to speak to my heart. And I yielded and said to him, take my life. And I began to communicate with him. And he lifted that weight off of me. And then 4 days later, when my wife came home, that's when she told me that she didn't want to be married no more. It had a profound impact on me, because I had a little girl at the time that's 4 years old. And but looking back on that, had I not met Jesus that 4 days, I don't think I would be here. And it was through that short period of time that I had with him, enabled me to get through that. And that changed my life forever. And I tell anyone today that if you got Jesus, there's nothing that you can't get through.
Wow.
But if they don't have Jesus, there's a good chance they won't get through.
Yeah. Would you call that your great turnaround?
It was. That was the moment. That was the moment. That was the moment. And from that point of my life, 38 years ago, you're talking about walking up the highway, the King's Highway. I have grown by leaps and bounds. My life have been blessed immensely. And I have tried to take those experiences to be available to share with others, not only my family, because I dearly love my family. We'll talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
But because of the values and my love for people, which I got from my dad and mom, it created a desire within me to always want to reach out and help others. Because if they are feeling anything like what I went through, then they need help. And I want to share with them how to get through it.
That's good, James. Is there an achievement or a contribution that you are most proud of?
I would say, Bobbie, there are two or three things. And I'm not going to put them in any order. Well, one of them is when the Lord gave me a relationship with my children. That was one of the most greatest moments in my life, is when the Lord allowed me to have a relationship with my children. Secondly, I would say was when I began to understand what was important. I lost, and by no means I don't want anybody to think that's not important. But I understand the scripture when it says that when you're willing to give up everything, for me, then he didn't say you had to give it up, but if you had to be willing to give it up. And so I gave up to all of the 401ks and the ARAs and all those things for Christ. And I sit here today to say to you tonight that he's never let me down. And as a result of that, he's given me some wisdom, insight as to how to not only share with others and bless others through by what he done for me. Because I said to him the day that he came into my life and I was converted, I said three things to him. I said, take my life and do whatever you chose to do, because I'd have made a mess out of it before now. Secondly, give me a relationship with my children. And thirdly, I said to him, I'm not truly pressing you on this, Lord, but if you find somebody out there that you think I need, that can make me a good wife, then that's the third thing. And he did all three. He did all three.
That's wonderful. That is awesome, James. What do you value most and why?
I value my family. That's not even up for discussion. It's my family. Because I'm convinced, Bobbie, that when, as the old saying said, when the dust settles, that's all you got. And you really don't understand that until you get older. That's no offense to anyone else that's younger, but you don't see it until you get older. Because as you get older, those persons you have communicated with, fellowship with, the numbers get less and less. And then when all that's gone, all you have is your family.
That's right.
And so,
I'm sorry.
And so, my family, I can't put words as to how valuable they are to me. And that's because family was instilled in us over the years. Since we were children, we didn't understand why we got them whippings and he made us hug each other after we had a fight. Yeah. But now I understand. Family. And mother said to us, there shouldn't be anything that one could do or say to you in the family that you don't love them. And so my family is most valuable. Of course, obviously, my relationship with Jesus Christ is the most important thing. But when it comes down to important in that order, it's my family.
Right. James, what is your definition of a real man?
It's one who, and this is a broad statement I'm gonna give you, who is responsible. One who takes his responsibility serious, who if he got a family, he love his family, he love his wife, he love his children. He's a priest of his home, and he feels that he has to protect them, even to the extent sometime that, and I just recently had this experience, even sometime when there are things you may even want to share with your spouse, but because after you analyze what it is that you contemplate on not sharing, you ask yourself the question whether or not this would help or hurt. And so sometimes you don't share because of what you're sharing might have an effect on that you don't want to see them go through. So as a result, it's not hoarding information, but it's managing information.
Yeah. It's been said that life is lived, but in hindsight.
Yes.
So what would you tell your younger self?
Get to know Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Get to know Jesus, because there's some stuff down the road.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna miss out on what life is all about.
Yeah.
But that's what I would tell yourself. Listen to those who are trying to tell you about Jesus.
Yeah. We have testimonies, as we get older, and sometimes younger people have testimonies. So why do you think others should hear your story or hear your testimony? Why is that important?
I just believe, sis, that, and I say this with a great deal of humility. I just believe that because of what God has done to me and through me and with me, I believe that I have a story that could change a person's life, that could help them to live a good life, a productive life, a life worth living. Because I don't think no one is ready to live unless they've been broken. I've been broken to tears. I mean, I've cried days and nights. But it was the greatest thing ever happened to me, where at one time in my life, the person who hurt me, at one time in my life, I probably would have cursed the person out. But now I thank God for the person.
Yeah.
Because of what came out of it.
Yeah, that's good. At this stage of your life, what is your outlook for the future? What do you see? What's going on?
I want, Bobbie, I really want to leave a legacy of that. The most important gift a person can leave behind for his family or anyone else is their faith. And so from whatever time God has for me on this earth, I want to make a contribution and share with them what God has done with me and done in my life. And if I can leave that, then I can be like my mom when she died. I could die in peace if I know that I have that I can do that because of my love for Jesus and my love for my family, the love God has in my heart. I believe what I have to leave behind is worth listening to and receiving. Because sis, I'm telling you, I have a blessed life, and he gave me one of the most beautiful women that ever lived on the face of this earth, who has contributed to that and made life worth living, and that's my wife, Faye.
Thank you, Pastor Town, Reverend Town, my big brother.
Thank you
for gracing this platform called Bloom with Bobbie.
Thank you so much, sis.
I'm so happy that you agreed to be with me this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sis. And if you allow me to say this, I thank you for your diligence and for your desire to do what you're doing. It hadn't always been easy, but one of the things I noticed about you, you didn't give up. And I pray that your ministry would continue to flourish. God would use you in a immense way to make a difference in people's lives, and as you're doing now.
Thank you so much, Jane. Thank you. And thank you all for watching. We upload new content every week, and we ask you to join Bloom with Bobbie because, as you've heard, there are testimonies that can make a difference in the lives of others. So until next time, give this platform a thumbs up or subscribe. We'd be most grateful. Thank you so much. Be blessed.
Amen. God bless you. Amen.